The disappearance of Summer Wells, 3.5 years later, Sebastian ROGERS, who filed the 5 CPS reports. Thank you for your time.
Sarah, several of our colleagues have spoken with Summer's mother off camera. She's even provided videos and photos of her daughter. But tonight, for the first time, she shares her account of what happened the night her daughter went missing, and like her husband, that she believes her 5-year-old girl was taken.
We really miss her very much. She was the angel of blessing. The love of our life. She's what made our world go around.
It's been 13 days since Candace Bly and Donald Wells last saw their 5-year-old daughter, Summer.
I'm just scared that somebody's hurting her, and there's nothing I can do about it, and it smothers me.
As the almost 2-week-long search through the rough terrain scales back, Summer's parents say they believe someone took their daughter.
Personally, I think someone come up here and grabbed her and ran down the hill.
I think so
and
too.
Threw her in a car and drove as far away as they could from this area.
I know she didn't walk away from this property by herself or off this yard by her swing. I feel in my heart that somebody has came up here and took her, has lured her away from here.
Around 6:30 in the evening on June 15th, her father called to report her missing, but he wasn't home yet from work.
Me and my mother and her were planting flowers. And we went in after we got done washing our hands, and she got a piece of candy from Grandma, and she wanted to go back over and see her brothers. And I said, okay. And I walked her all the way over to the porch. And I watched her walk into the kitchen where the boys were watching TV. And I told the boys, I said, watch Summer. I'll be back. And within 2 minutes, I came back.
Okay.
And I asked the boys where their sister was. And they said, she went downstairs, Mom, to play with her toys in the playroom. I said, okay. And I yelled downstairs for her a couple times, and I didn't get no answer, which was unusual. Usually she always answers me. And so I went down there to check, and she was nowhere in sight. She was just gone.
Summer has 3 older brothers.
When they get out of line, she put them in line.
Her parents say she loves princesses, especially the movie Frozen, and to be outside.
She loves to dance. She would always want me. She says, Daddy, hold my hand so I can twirl. And she would just like to twirl and twirl and twirl until my arm got tired.
She loved to play in the mud and the water and swing on her swing and enjoy dirt.
Now, authorities are looking for the driver of a red Toyota Tacoma that was in the area around the time Summer went missing, and stressing that this person is a potential witness.
I've never seen this truck, and I've never heard of it until just recently. But I wish they would come forward and explain themselves. I mean, if you're not a suspect, at least come forward and say what you've seen.
No one has been named a suspect, and authorities have not ruled Summer's disappearance as an abduction. But tonight, her parents have one plea.
Please find it in your heart, have mercy, and find a way of letting her go, and where we can get her back.
Please bring her back home.
Just let her come home, please.
We miss her so much. Her brothers are so devastated that they wake up every morning crying for their sister. And as a mother, it really hurts to see your other children crying.
Well, for the last few days, we have referred to Candace's mother as Candace Wells because that's what she went by on Facebook. But tonight she told me that her name is Candace Bly, and Bly is her maiden name.
2 weeks tomorrow, since we are told she called authorities. And you mentioned how she's really been reluctant to be interviewed until tonight. What do you think it was that changed that made her want to go and talk to you tonight?
I have spoken with her several times via social media. She actually ended up messaging my professional account. We have talked a few times there, and today I went up and was able to introduce myself to her, and she told me that she had been reluctant just because of all of the backlash on social media. She said that she had been reading the comments, but after speaking with her a couple of times this evening, she said that she was finally ready for people to hear her side of the story.
And you had a chance to ask what I'm sure a lot of people were wondering about, why Summer's hair was so short, and both Summer and father had comments about that.
They both told me that she had already cut her hair. They said it was something most little girls do. They get a hold of the scissors and already cut her hair, and that they just decided to go ahead and shave it all off. It was just a little bit too difficult, is what they told me, to go ahead and style it that way. Her mother did tell me that she shaved her head as well to make Summer feel more comfortable, but that was why they told me her hair was a lot shorter than originally pictured.
Ansley, Daniel, something that a lot of us have been waiting for hearing from Summer Wells's mother. It's something that we all wanted to hear, and you got that opportunity.
Absolutely. And tonight, like I said, both of them had their plea. They wanted, who they say believe took their daughter, they want her to come home. They just want that person to bring her home.
Right, Ansley, thank you.
And you can watch more of Ansley's interview online at WJHL.com. You can also follow the search for Summer Wells there as well. We want to mention this again. TBI says they're looking for a potential witness, not a suspect, but a witness. That person could be the driver of a Toyota pickup truck that was spotted around Beach Creek Road and Ben Hill Road in the late afternoon to early evening, June 14th or June 15th. The truck is possibly a red or maroon Toyota Tacoma, around 1998 to 2000. It has a full bed ladder truck with white buckets in the bed.
Today, the reward fund for Summer has been finalized. Incident Commander Tim Coop said anybody can contribute. Visit any Civis Bank branch to put money into the Churchill Rescue Squad Summer Wells reward account. If no tips lead to the little girl, the money will stay there for 6 months and then be donated to the Children's Advocacy Center.
If you know anything about the location or the disappearance of Summer Wells, even if it's just a little bit of information, investigators want to hear from you. Call 1-800-TBI-FIND. The number and the email are listed there on your screen and on our website. And remember, you can remain anonymous.
Hey guys, did you know?
Can remain anonymous. Well, well, well. Can remain anonymous. Oh, mercy. Welcome to the Vault XL. Thank you all for the live last night. It went longer than anticipated. An update to the story of Jenna Reyes-Hen. Authorities are currently investigating a homicide, a death. Found a body out in the desert, and it is believed to be that of the young lady, but they're waiting on an autopsy. So when I get an update, I will bring you that said information pertaining to that case. Go down here where I get a bigger picture of Summer. It moved too fast. Welcome everybody in the chat. Thank you for your time. When you watch this content, I'm going back in time. This summer will be 4 years. The mother reported her missing from Rogersville, Tennessee. The mother appears to be inebriated or under the influence of some type of drug, narcotic, whichsoever. Look, quite frankly. Just a bad, bad look. Eyes rolling up in her head. Thinks somebody lured her daughter away. The father says he believes somebody came up the driveway, ran back down, threw her in a car, and took her far, far away. It makes sense to even say that. I think somebody took her far, far away. You don't know where they took her. If it's not you and Candace, be around the corner, down the street. I think somebody took her far, far away. Many videos uploaded, social media, flash clapbacks from people. Candace didn't want to talk to the news. Why not? Oh, because people are talking about me. So what? So what? Once again, to imbibe social media is a choice. You do not have to look at Facebook. You do not have to look at YouTube, TikTok, IG. That is a choice. Your concern is supposed to be your child. Once again, deflection. Then when you get on a news broadcast, you're drunk or high. And you knew you were drunk or high when the lady decided to come see you. So why even do the interview? You're sitting there with a beat up wife beater on with no brassiere, teeth missing, and doped up. And that's the image you want to portray to America. But see, the gist of the story is that is who you are. So you came as you are, as they say in church. The pastor says, come as you are. We don't care how you come, just so long as you come. Well, I say no. I say don't go to church looking a mess, and don't go on a news broadcast looking a mess. Checkmate. Numerous interviews, shall I say, jumping on people's YouTube channels. The father, she came in late. She started talking and yapping as well. Dr. Phil show, disaster. She runs off the stage with the mention of cornbread mafia. Why? I don't know. Neighbors being interviewed, Jody Sue, everybody talking about they heard a scream, accusing other people nearby as suspects. We hear a mention of a red truck. You don't hear nothing else about that. In the end, many of us believe these two are the culprits. 3 other boys removed from their home shortly after the child goes missing. They go into foster care. Shoo, shoo, fly, fly, never see them again. One of them's almost grown. Checkmate. You couldn't even fight to get your boys back. You see, the tone has always been set if you paid attention. These two have a history of child abuse and child neglect and giving up children to the state and other parties. They both had this history before they met each other, and our kind universe brought these two heathens together as one to commit the same sins all over again. Checkmate. What are the odds? You both have history of abuse, SA. You get together, your child goes missing, alleged CPS reports, don't know if it's true or not, and boom, 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 little girl goes missing. Somebody crawled up that ratchet driveway to steal your child. Why? I live here in East Tennessee, okay? And I know that nobody goes up those type of driveways unless they're looking for something particular. Meaning, they have had knowledge. They have knowledge of what's up the driveway, such as robbery. And when you look at that house, you already know nobody's going up there to rob a damn thing. I said that. So what would be the reason someone would crawl up a broken driveway to steal a kid, unless they knew the child would be alone and they would have access to get her from the compound and back down the hill or through the weeds or whatever and take her? A bit much, if you ask me. You know, this isn't some Mountain Jack movie set where we're watching someone climb through riverbanks and rocks trying to escape the bad men. Come on now. Just ridiculous. Hello, everybody in the chat. It's disgusting, their behavior. Mr. Wells coming to YouTube, being very vulgar, always using the N-word, just a monster, in my opinion. And I blame the wife as well. You're evenly yoked. I believe they both have knowledge of the child's disappearance. Whoever did what to whom even matter, because you're never going to get the truth, just like you're never going to probably get the truth in the case in Hendersonville and Sebastian Rogers. I put them both in the title for a reason, and I'll give you that reason here shortly. One, I'd like an ending to both. Her case is running too long for my taste. You heard them mention a reward fund that got dismantled because we had a little dirty bird from the UK meddling in our business over here, complaining about fraud done on YouTube lives, and it got the reward fund dismantled. So they gave the money to other area organizations. So it was all for nothing. $30,000+ for a little girl. And I'm sure the reward, the rescue squad got heat. They didn't know anything. They're just trying to help. But that's what happens when you're trying to do good. You get slapped in the face. What's the old saying? No good deed. I can't even say it right now because I'm so frustrated right now. My damn, I can't even. I told myself I wasn't even going to go live today because of the live from last night went so long. But I have something on my chest and I want to get it off and then I want to be done. When something looks bad, sounds bad, it usually is bad. This case looked bad, it sounded bad. And here we are now in January 25, almost, coming up 4 years, June 15th. Doesn't even seem like it's been that long. No updates, no nothing. A lot of trauma, drama, gossip about, Rogersville, sheriff, this and that. You're entitled to your opinion. Many people didn't feel like they were doing their job. TBI joined forces, just like with Sebastian's case, and you have nothing. $2 interviews given by these parents, father talking about the afterlife, so on and so forth. Just a bunch of nonsense. You see, the one thing that's similar in both these cases, they're in both rural parts of Tennessee, both Caucasian, both have allegations of CPS reports, both children's parents decided to play with YouTube. Say, whoa. And that's a hell of a coincidence, if you ask me. Both have no eyewitnesses of a child being abducted or lured. No CCTV footage of either child coming out of the house. No CCTV footage of the child going in the house. Each child was out and about with their mother as if it was the end of the world. We got to get it all in. We got to get it all in. Let's go here. Let's go here. Let's go here. Summer Wells went from here to Kingsport and God knows where else on that fateful day. And also Sebastian Rogers. Here, 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 here. In the car, out the car. In the car, out the car. Poof, voila, gone. Each one is allegedly came home to their house. She came home to her house after planting fake flowers. No video. 15-year-old is out all damn day with relatives, goes to eat dinner, goes home, goes to bed allegedly. Poof, voila, next morning he's gone. No scent trail, no video, nothing. No shoes. Then we hear the same thing about this little girl. She didn't have no shoes on. Ding, ding, ding. Both have the same letter name. Initial, Sebastian, S. Summer, S. Come on with it, Queen. No shoes, no shoes. No video, no video. Allegations of abuse, abuse, abuse. Parents with bad history with relationships. Do you hear an echo? I hear an echo. It's just ridiculous. And now here we are, trying to understand how we got to this point of having 2 kids missing from opposite sides of the state of Tennessee, just gone. A lot of gossip, a lot of rhetoric, a lot of misinformation, a lot of lies spread. Parents aren't truthful, deceitful. So as I always tell people, you beware of the messenger. Each trying to spin a narrative of the child just being taken or ran away. Nobody crawled up that driveway and got that little girl. And nobody walked into 1008 Stafford Court to take a boy out of his house. I don't think he ran away. I don't think she ran away. I don't think he was kidnapped. I don't think she was kidnapped. And for the person that commented earlier, I already told you, I'm not going to go back and forth with you or anybody on social media about the Proudfoots. Not now, not never. I said what I had to say, and I meant every damn word. So stop trying to comment. You rally for whoever the fuck you want to rally for, but don't bring it to me. And I've said it before, and I'm not going to say it a damn again. Your comment will be erased. Because I am not, and listen to me carefully, I am not, and I will not support nobody aiding abuse of a child or any human. Not now, not never. So don't fuck with me. That's your cup of tea, that is you. But this is not the network. So don't come over here with that nonsense. I'm angry right now. I'm pissed off because I shouldn't still be talking about Summer Wells 3.5 years later. Her brothers should not be in foster care. But this goes to show you what type of life the children were living. And when you saw the compound, the property, it gave you an insight to what was going on with these children. And everyone is not rich. Everyone is not going to be rich. Everyone's not going to be upper middle class. I get that. But if you can't even keep your property clean, you choose to have shit all over the property, trash. Why do you think the camera zoomed in to the plants and the bottles and all of that? They were giving you a glimpse into what these parents were trying to sell the media and the public. And then a YouTuber decides to go into the belly of the beast and go in the house. What fool would allow somebody to come in their house when they already see the property is in shambles? Invite a stranger into your house, into that dungeon, and then we got to see where the child slept, and I'm supposed to believe these two heathens cared for their children. You can't even mow the grass. You can't even mow the grass. How are you going to care for her and her 3 siblings? The baby's sleeping down in a cold room. She likes princesses and whatever that other nonsense he's talking about. Well, I can't tell. Look at how she was living. Walking around looking like a boy. So just like I told people years ago, if somebody was stalking the house and wanted a child, they stole her thinking she's a boy. Checkmate. Come on with it. I'm woke. You're dressing her like a boy. She's looking like a boy, if you want to go with the kidnap theory. So whoever was eyeing her wanted a boy, if it was a stranger. Just enough of this. I do believe those two are complicit into the disappearance of this child. I do not believe she's alive. Could she have been sold for nefarious reasons? Sure. But you have to use deduction. Her age, her height, her weight. What use would she be after engaging with sex with grown-ups? Stay woke. We're going to keep this live stream real. She wouldn't be alive. You know that. I think you all know that. She wouldn't be alive. Could have sold her. Human trafficker. With these two, anything's possible. But whatever happened, I don't think she's alive. And as I said, there were many allegations. We never got a receipt that there was a CPS report. They were coming, knocking on the door, blah, 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 leaving notes, cards. Well, whatever. She's not here. That's the point. So then we go over to Hendersonville, same thing. We get information about CPS reports here. Fathers confirmed 5. I'll get to that shortly. Same game, both children. Both children just living in spaces that aren't conducive to living. One house looks better than the other one, but they did whatever they had to do to survive. Summer and Sebastian. They didn't have no options the way it's looking. Could better have been done, of course, but that has nothing to do with the children because they can't navigate for themselves. They're minors. So they live according to how they're being raised, how they're being treated, until somebody steps in and say, hey, this cannot be allowed. Hey, we have proof of abuse. The child has to come out of here. Sadly, it did not happen in either case. Failure by CPS in both cases, most likely, yes. With Sebastian, most definitely. We hear that calls were made into this about this child too, so here we go. But as I was talking to a social worker a few years ago, a young lady I know, she told me, we don't necessarily remove children from homes in Tennessee because the house don't look good and the property don't look good. Well, now. So how crazy is that? So let's role play. Social worker goes to Hendersonville to a nice house in a nice neighborhood. He or she looks around, they don't see nothing, but you got report, so on and so forth. You still let the child stay there. Now let's go on over here to East Tennessee. You go to a dilapidated property, filthy, open rooms, no privacy for the boys to change their clothes, no doors, nothing. And you still say it's okay for a child to stay there. Checkmate. I say, Tennessee, you have a problem. And now you're sending the children out of state because you don't have anywhere to house the children. If you all did not know that. That's the latest Tennessee news pertaining to foster care. So right now, we don't even know where her brothers are. They could be out of state. I don't know. I know one's almost grown because he was 13, the oldest, at the time of the disappearance of Summer. So if he was 13, we're coming in 4 years. He's at least going on 17 years of age. Might be turning 18 at the end of the year. Don't know. Will those children want to see the Wells when they become grown? I hope not. Last we heard, they were faring well and doing well. Amen. Do they think about their sister? Still cry for their sister? Sometimes time can heal wounds, old wounds. But those children are better off. So then we ask the ultimate question. With all the gossip we heard, all the he said, she said from Allie, her son, what happened to Summer Wells after that rendezvous in Kingsport? Grandma took off and disappeared into the wind so conveniently. She doesn't have a good rapport in child rearing either. Walking around mimicking a man. Candace walking around mimicking a man. Shaving a little girl's head to look like a boy. One gossip is that it was cooties, not a chopped up hairdo. See, you're never going to know the truth. Because when you're dealing with people who are deceptive, you can't get the truth. You might get about 5% of the truth. It's still neglect. Cooties, child using scissors to cut her hair. Well, take her to the hair salon and get her a nice short hairstyle. And yes, auntie missing from out of state still. She was never found. I don't think those two are connected. Just a sick situation in a family. Allegedly, her husband was abusing her. She wasn't happy. Where's this child? Who holds the key to this child here? A lot of people were deemed suspects in this story. People throwing things at the flute guy, the other guy who was living next door, sleeping outside in a tent, blah, 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 in a car. We had Jody Sue coming forward with this and that. Everybody wanted a piece of the story. And the end result is still the same. She's still missing. He said, she said. Got folks all the way up in New York putting their 2 cents in. But in the end, it's the same result. Nothing. Where does TBI stand with the disappearance of Summer Wells? Do you have a suspect or suspects? Do you believe there's foul play? Is it a criminal investigation? Right at the end, we learned last year the parents felt like they were targets by law officials. So they finally gave us some tea. Yeah, I guess they did, because they probably watched YouTube. And they watched all your dirty commentary and how you acted on YouTube. So you gave them a glimpse into what you were doing when you had access to the children. And it's the same thing with Sebastian. Like he's a rock star. He's acting like Donald Wells. I need this fame. I need validation. So they've been telling you what's been going on behind closed doors. They're clout chasers. They need attention. One reason why they ain't vibing with their own damn kids, stepkids. Because they're ill. Same gang, 2 different parts of Tennessee, but the same gang. What are the odds? Each parent runs to YouTube with a story and a story and a story and a story, pretending to be other people in the chat. Fake profiles. That's what we've heard about both, and I believe it. Just dirty as hell. Then you have the YouTubers who aiding both sides of the coin. Aiding the Proudfoots, aiding the Wells, arguing with people on and on about some dirty motherfuckers that don't care about children. I'm not going to argue with you about nobody that don't care about no kids. It ain't nothing to argue about. You like them, that's your business. But you're not going to argue with Queen about nothing. Because I'm a very good listener. I'm a very good listener. And I see things that most people don't see. When you can't talk to the news, you don't rally for your child, you don't go to the street with flyers, you're not going nowhere important to talk about the child, like church events, schoolhouse, radio stations, news, I got a problem with you. 2 weeks it took that bobblehead to decide to speak about her child. And when the father spoke, he talking about seeing her in the afterlife. Well, damn. You already think she dead 2 weeks later? Because probably she is dead. And she was dead then, 2 weeks in. And nobody came to their rescue. Only the church lady trying to keep the peace. She looked like she wanted 5 minutes of fame too, all giddy and, laughing in front of the camera, which is weird and absurd. But some might say, well, maybe she was just nervous. I think she wanted attention too. But where is she now? You don't hear from her. Because anybody with sense would have just laid in the background and let everything play itself out. Church, eventually I believe they folded. They either stopped dealing with the Wells or the Wells felt uncomfortable and they tapered off and went and got them another church. And yes, God tells us to forgive thy neighbor. Kind of hard. Kind of hard to forgive thy neighbor if I think thy neighbor murdered their child. Checkmate. But God forgives the sinner. I'm not God. Thank you. 1-800-TBI-FINE. Tips to TBI@Tennessee.gov. If you have information pertaining to the disappearance of Summer Wells. June 15th, 2025 will mark 4 years that Candace Bly reported her child missing from the holler. And I think it's interesting she made sure to clarify that to the news reporter. My name is Candace Bly, but yet you're married to Donald Wells. I'll let that sit right there. Paradise was not paradise. Kidnapped She ran off, fell, hurt herself, died, succumbed to the elements, attack. Neighbor took her. Company of the Wells took her. They sold the child. Private adoption. Mother found out, disposed of her. You be the judge. Yes, they are. A game is a game, indeed. They've laid quiet, giving YouTube a break. Thank you. Now, some of you believe Sebastian Rogers was derived from the Summer Wells playbook. Too many similarities. Feel free to go back into my catalog and check out my video on Sebastian versus Summer Wells. We stopped counting at about 69. And I'm sure some of you are like, damn, you all came up with 69 similarities? We sure did. And some of those were not on my list because I didn't even have the S and S. One of the fans said, Queen, both of their names start with S. I don't even know how I missed that. Sitting right in front of me. But if you can come up with 69 similarities between two children who have different ages, didn't know each other, never met, scary as hell. Scary as hell. So we're going to go over to Hendersonville. Did the Proudfoots rob the Summer Wells playbook? 2.0. I was sent a link today where Tony Mathis was talking to these podcasters about the emails. And I made sure to listen very carefully. I made sure to put it on my Bluetooth so I wouldn't miss one word. 5 CPS reports. Who filed the reports? Who filed 5 reports? Are the reports by the same person? 2 or 3 by the same person? And why was nothing done? Why was the biological father never contacted about the reports? What is the truth about the reports and Seth Rogers' knowledge of these reports? Allegedly, he had no knowledge. Is that the truth? Why were you all discussing sending a child to a group home? Please talk to the Queen. I'm not going to talk to anybody about sending my child to no group home. Not a developmentally delayed person. As I revealed in the live stream last night, for those of you who do not know my credentials, I have worked with children in a group home setting, boys and girls. I've also worked with adult disabled men and women in a group home setting. And I've also worked with men who were addicts in a group setting. So when I talk to you, unlike the other YouTubers, I speak from experience. That's why I can talk to you about multiple topics on my network that don't involve true crime, because I have lived. So I'm going to talk from a professional standpoint and personal, pertaining to group homes and Sebastian Rogers. I don't like what I heard in that commentary from Tony Mathis to those people in that live stream. I was very pissed off, and I'm still pissed off. And I had already planned to do another Sebastian Rogers content and Summer Wells. I just wasn't going to put them in both in the same live, but I went ahead and did it anyway. And then I'll tell you why. And then I'm deuces. I want to know who filed the 5 reports. I want to know why CPS allowed somebody to come to them 5 times, 4 times about Sebastian Rogers. I want to know why Seth Rogers had no knowledge of these reports. I want to know why CPS, you didn't contact him. I want to know why the Proudfoots thought it was okay to send a delayed individual to a group home. And the one you were trying to send him to over there in Bledsoe County, we've already heard the stories because I live here in Tennessee. You see, you didn't even give a fuck. You weren't trying to do no homework. You just wanted that boy out of your house. You are like many people here in the South and other places. You just want the child out. So see, what you should have done was just call the state. But then the state probably would have known he has a biological father, so they would have went to the father to say, well, the parents don't want him in their house anymore. Can you take Sebastian in? So now I got to ask Seth, would you have taken him in? Because I'm starting to wonder what the hell I've been listening to for 10 months. Because tonight, I'm hot fucking butter. I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off. I want to know why he will be going to an online school. For what? So help me understand. What would be the purpose of an online school? So Seth, were you going to change your schedule around? You were going to work daytime, nighttime? I'm confused. I just don't understand. All this hopping around from season to season to season. Yes, I heard about the registering the kid in the online school. That's still not good enough for me when there's knowledge that these people don't want the boy in their house. Why did you not go get the boy out from these people? Now, one person said today, well, maybe it's because he didn't know how bad it was. Okay, somebody's telling you they don't want the kid. They're trying to send him to a group home where they haven't even done research. I live in East Tennessee, and we know all about Bledsoe County. We know all about those group homes from here to Nashville. Ding, ding, ding. We already know about the reputations of these group homes because a lot of children in the area have been sent to these group homes. Ding, ding, ding. Certain group homes are for the developmentally delayed. Group homes where the children are wayward, have attitude. He mentioned all these different places to send a child. He said, places that are far away from Tennessee. I was just sitting there listening in awe. So, you know what the Queen was thinking? Okay, you send your kid to this group home in Utah and over here and over there. When you gonna get your child back? I'll let this sit right there. What's the? I send my child to this place, I pay all this money every month. Then what? They stay there what? 2 months, 3 months, a year? You let them turn 18, still stay there? What's the protocol for those group homes? Oh, we'll house your kid until they die. I'm just asking. Help me understand. I think the people didn't want the kid. That's why I said you couldn't send him to a regular group home if he didn't have some serious behavioral problems. See, we don't know what that little boy was doing because we're not there. We weren't there. So I don't know what Sebastian was doing and not doing. And I'm not here to say. All I'm saying from personal experience, you cannot put a delayed individual in a group home with regular kids. And I'm not saying some of those kids don't have autism or on the spectrum, because I don't know much about all that autism, degrees of it. People just really started talking about it the past couple of years. What I'm saying is, like juvenile, perfect example, juvenile detention. That wouldn't be a place you would send Sebastian. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's a facility for kids that's wayward, staying in trouble, stealing cars, breaking the law. Would you send a developmentally delayed person in there? And we get it. Some of those kids in there, they probably developmentally delayed too. But they've done so much terrible things, ain't nobody caring. So they just group them all together. You can't group them all together. These people just didn't want the kid. And so I was baffled listening to this information about this online school business going year for year for year, and the child still staying with the Proudfoots. That was a bad move, because look what happened. He's now missing. You can't wait for somebody to change their mind and their attitude when they are telling you they don't want the kid. He should have gotten the child out of their house and made sure to have them sign legal documents that they are relinquishing custody of Sebastian. So you got to do everything by protocol. Can't just let the boy move in the house with you. You got to go get a piece of paper so you won't have no problems later. Katie, Chris are giving up physical custody to Seth ROGERS. That way there will be no problems down the road. And if he wanted to get child support from her and Sugar Daddy, he could. Why not? But that's never going to happen now, is it? Because he is now gone. This is to me. I mean, I literally listened to this commentary from Tony and I was just pissed off. Day for day for day for 2 years, he's in this house with these people and they don't want him. And nobody else stepped in to take him out of that house. And he probably was in fear. But he had to have told somebody, or somebody was used by these people in the house, Katie and this man, because she allowed it, whether she did anything to the child or not. My thing is this: there's no such thing as a clean hand when you allow somebody to abuse your child. And we see this every day in households where people get with other people and they stand there and they allow people to berate their children, hit their children, abuse their children, choke their children, and they don't do shit. So she's guilty as Christopher. So you all can stop talking about what the fuck Christopher did. You better put Katie on that fucking stamp too. She belongs on the envelope as well. She allowed it. And for all you know, she was hurting the little boy, pushing him around, pinching him. You don't know. And she ain't gonna never tell it. Believe that. But there's no way the child should have still been staying with the Proudfoots. Once, Seth, you knew they didn't want him. Baby, you should have took him out of there. And it's online school. I don't understand it. Why are you going to have somebody go from regular school to online school? For what? He's already been isolated. Not having no friends. He ain't going nowhere. He ain't spending time with no kids. So school was probably the best enjoyment he got. So what was he doing in the schoolhouse? Please, somebody, bring me a receipt. Well, guess what? You don't have to do that no more. Because I have decided, after this information that I have listened to myself, not nobody else carrying me the bone, I listened to it come out of Tony's mouth myself, I can no longer engage. And that's where I stand. I can no longer engage. Because I have lived. I know what foster care is like for children, other people, family members. I have seen it personally. I have worked in the field. I have a receipt. I have a t-shirt. And let me tell you this, you don't know what it's like to not feel loved by your parent. For somebody to say you're not good enough, you acting out, you ain't right. Here, call the state, come get her, come get him, pick them up. put you in a strange place with strangers you do not know. Nobody's calling to check on you to see that you are okay, that you are getting along with these strange ass people. And we have learned when children go into the care of foster care and these type of places, they get treated worse than where the fuck they came from. And sometimes they end up dead. Do you understand what I'm saying to you? They end up dead. So the bells were ringing for Sebastian Rogers and nobody came. The cavalry didn't come. And I can't imagine what he felt like every day living in this house with these people and crying out and not being able to have anybody listen and stand up for him and stand in the gap. Get me out of here. They wanted that boy gone. And you're entitled to believe anything you want to believe, that he acted out, he was wayward. The point is, he should have been removed, either by the father or by the state of Tennessee. Because had he been removed, possibly we would not be talking about Sebastian Rogers today. Or Summer Wells. It is time for everybody to do right by their child. And if you are not going to do right by your child, then you hand the baton to somebody that's going to do right. We don't have time for you to sit around and play around to decide what you want to do about your kid. What you going to do about a case that sat on your desk. You're not in tune to helping to aid the child, then you need to find your ass another job. Because this is why the children slip through the crack and they end up a Summer Wells, Amber Alert. Sebastian Rogers, Amber Alert. Because somebody didn't do their damn job. Somebody walked in and looked around and saw some old $2 ass furniture and said, oh, it's nice in here. It smells good in here. And walk out, close the case. Then you get another call. What you do? Just take the paper, throw it in the garbage can? Oh, there ain't nothing going on over there in Hendersonville. Them some nice white paper. I ain't doing nothing to that boy. He's autistic. He's just a problem. So you just gonna let the complaints stack up, stack up, stack up, stack up. Same with this child. You got to ask how many times somebody called about the care of her and her brothers. And now she's missing and the brothers are in foster care. Hendersonville, whole kid missing. We have a problem with CPS. You all have got to take these cases serious. I get it. You don't have enough manpower. You don't have enough people going out in the field to check the houses, check the homes. But you cannot just let these children continue to stay in these houses with open cases. You need to be watching these people. You need to be sitting outside the house and watching the people come and go and see how they act. See what type of environment they got. Pop-up visits. Don't tell them you coming. Just show your ass up. Surprise! Oh, we weren't expecting you. I know. May I come in, please? And you walk that house and you look at everything from the refrigerator to everything. In the room, out the room. And you just sit and say, I'm going to sit a little while if you don't mind. I like to take notes. And you observe. You go to the schoolhouse, you do the same. Go to school and watch the child in the classroom. Talk to the teachers and ask, how is the behavior of the child? Ask the teacher, do you have problems with the child? May I speak to some of the children that are friends with the child? That's how you get an understanding of what is going on. That way, it's not one-sided. But because we don't have people who want to go into social work, they don't have enough people to go out in the field to walk the walk and see what the hell is going on with these children, they get thrown to the side. And sadly, they end up missing and or dead. And I don't believe that Summer Wells is alive, and I don't believe that Sebastian is alive. Because all these cases are eerily similar. Allegations of abuse, SA, poof, voila, the child's gone. Because it's just easier to get rid of the child than do all this wrangling and waiting for CPS to come back and bang on the door, wrangling with the father, mother. When you coming to get him? When you coming to get him? Wanted him out of that house. So instead of waiting on Seth to come get him, they got rid of him. I definitely think it more now after listening to what Tony had to say on that live stream. They got rid of him. You don't want to come get your son? Okay, I'll do you one better. We'll get rid of him since you won't come get him. And maybe Seth has guilt for not getting his son. And I'm going to say it, he should. I'm going to go ahead and say it. He stayed too long. He stayed too long with them. And frankly, when he noticed behavior by Katie back in California, Georgia, where she acted detached, she didn't seem in tune to the kid, she didn't seem motherly, you should have left her and took your child and filed for sole custody. And we wouldn't be talking about this boy. But that's water under the bridge, because you can't go back. He can't go back. And possibly he thinks about that. I should have left that woman a long time ago, and I should have taken my son and moved on. Not sat around and waited for her to come out the Navy. Not sit and wait for her to come back and play mommy. Because I got a feeling the signs were there probably when she was carrying the little boy. She probably didn't want to be pregnant. But she didn't abort the kid. She didn't get the baby up for adoption. She didn't run off and stay gone where Seth would have been able to just keep the kid and raise the kid on his own. But I think from the get-go, she was not in tune. And Katie just rode the ride. And she did what a lot of people do. They just hang around. But deep down inside, they are disinterested in the subject matter. And sadly, she's waited a long, long time to knock off her kid. Because waiting till somebody 15, that's a long ass time. To say, well, he ain't trying to come get the kid. I want my husband. My husband can't come in his house. I got to do something because I need my man here. I love my husband. I want my husband here. And he's probably saying, I pay bills at that house, Stafford Court, and I can't come in the house because of your son? It was a buildup. Years of contempt. She had contempt for Seth. He probably had contempt for her. They rode that donkey ride until they separated. Then she meets Christopher Proudfoot, and hell opened up. Literally. Hell opened up. And this poor child was riding on the coattails of these two dirty heathens, not knowing he only had a few years to be breathing on top of this dirt. And that's a terrible, terrible thought. To be walking around here not knowing when you're going to take your last damn breath. Because when you're a child, that's not what you're going to be thinking about. Somebody hurting you. Somebody hating you enough to unalive you. And I'm sure Seth ain't thought these people would hurt his child, kill his child. But I do believe they hurt that boy. 5 CPS reports. They wanted to get rid of the boy, and then he's gone. And we're 10 months in, and it still ain't nothing. Oh, no. Oh, hell no. Hell no. They got rid of that boy. And it's shameful. And it's shameful nobody stood in the gap for Sebastian Rogers. He could be here now, happy, playing with somebody, making sure he got adequate care, adequate mental care, behavioral care. We're never going to know now what he could have been because he wasn't given the opportunity. Those heathens just took it upon themselves. They wanted to be done. So in the end, it don't really matter if the child had behavioral issues or not. We don't know. We weren't there. We didn't witness nothing. You're listening to two people who have bad track records. They will tell you anything. I'm not going to sit up here and believe nothing them two got to say about that boy, because he's not here to defend himself. Was he a problem in school? Bring me a receipt. Who are the people behind the 5 reports? Teachers, schoolmates, neighbors, family members? Who filed the reports? And DHS, why didn't you do something? Why didn't you all remove the child from the home? Why didn't you all notify Mr. Rogers that there were reports that he was having behavioral issues in school? Help me understand. Because if the father's name is on any documents at the school as a point of contact, that should have been the first thing the school gave DHS. Oh, yes, his father is on his school records. Here's his phone number if you'd like to contact him. So I don't know what's the truth about he was an absentee parent, if that's just he said, she said gossip, but I can tell you now, as of today, I'm done with all of it. I am done with the he said and the she said. I am done with it all. My spirit told me months ago, stop talking about this case, because there's something sinister pertaining to Sebastian Rogers. You know it because you've experienced it firsthand. That's why I know bullshit when I see it and when I smell it. Because I've lived and I have worked with agencies related to Department of Human Services. So I speak from experience. We live in a throwaway society. We live with people who are mentally inept to take care of children and themselves. We live with people who know they are wronging their children and continue to wrong their children until DHS steps in or somebody else steps in. And we live with people who are evil and do not have a problem with unaliving their children. And it is going to continue until these dirty birds stop procreating and having babies. It will never stop. As for CPS, you all are going to have to change your criteria in how you investigate allegations of abuse. And I understand that there may be times you aren't going to see signs of abuse. Phone call about a child, you need to wake up. You need to wake up. You need to make a decision about the child. You don't let somebody continuously call and file police reports and DHS reports about a child being abused, neglected. Because I'm going to tell you what would have happened had Sebastian been removed from the Proudfoot's house. They would have never fought to get him back, number one. Had he been sent to a group home here, out of state, they would have never visited. They would not have kept up with him, called. He would have been there. If Seth would have visited, called, I don't know. I'm not speaking on nothing else no more because I'm fed the fuck up. I'm pissed off right now. But I know for sure the Proudfoots would have never engaged with that child once he left the house. They would not have called. They would not have visited. They would have not had him come home for the weekends and holidays. They would have been done. And you know why I know they would have been done? Because they are done now. There's no rallying for the child. There's no searching for the child. There's no conversation to the news, radio stations about the child. The mother has laid low about the child. She would have done the same if he was living, visible. She would have cut him off. And that's the very reason why she does not talk about her child. Because she's done. That's why he's not here. You see, the way a person behaves when a person is visible and living is going to be exemplary if they are dead or missing. Say, whoa. I didn't care when he was here. Well, why would I care he's gone? The very reason why they don't talk to Seth. Because they finally cut the cord. And there's no need to talk to Seth Rogers about anything. Summer Wells currently missing out of Rogersville, Tennessee, 3.5 years. June 15, 2025 will mark 4 years that her mother called into a dispatch saying her child was missing. Sebastian Rogers, allegedly missing from Hendersonville, Tennessee, February 26, 2024. Mother put in a call through a dispatch as well to say her child walked out of the house with no shoes, coat, phone, without a coat, only a flashlight. Her version. Candace Bly Wells, her version. No CCTV footage for either child. No eyewitness for either child. No updates for either child. TBI involved. Throwaways. No cavalry came. I'm done. I can no longer engage in any commentary pertaining to Sebastian Rogers. That's where I stand. I can no longer engage. Not after what I heard today. I'm done. I want to thank you for your time. Thank you for your support. Any story I've spoke of pertaining to a missing child, I will bring you an update on my community page, but I will not necessarily bring you a live stream because I no longer want to talk about a child in this state or any other state. I'm tired. These are God's children. And I'm going to leave it right there. You all have a wonderful week. Happy New Year. You've been listening to the Vault XL.